Alrighty, so today we are doing, okay, if you're watching the videos, for those few people that actually do watch the videos, okay, this is called more practice with rotation. We did this first semester, but we have some people in this class that were not here first semester, so we're going over it again, and plus a review is even better. Okay, so you guys concrete, verifiably know what you're doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this right here. So we have, so in your table of contents, it's going to be more practice with rotations. This is going to be page 43. So first, let's start this one right here. Let's put PQR. So P is located 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, -3 and 4. Q is going to be located at -4 and 1. R is -2 and 1. All right. Did you figure it out? You know the electric pencil sharpener right there, right?
I swear you never had one.
What? It's been there for a long time.
Well,
You know,
that's
yeah,
just
it's
too
funny
bad,
because you push the electric pencil sharpener out of the way. I figured you just really like the old pencil sharpener. That's what I figured. All right, so I'm going to show you guys this right here. You need which one? This one? No, those aren't the same. That's yesterday.
what?
All right, listen up. Okay, I know I got everyone's attention up here. So I'm marking it. I got everything where it is. So that's a start. So now we're going to go back and I'm going to do, okay, reflect over the X and the Y. So the X, so I'm going to start right here. So if you guys notice, we got patty paper too. So I want you guys to feel the patty paper. There's a rough side and there's a smooth side. You want to write on the rough side. Okay, you want to write on the rough side because the other side is not going to take very well. All right, so if you guys remember this, I'm going to put this on here. So what's the first thing I have to do if you guys recall? No, you got to mark something first. Point. Okay, so I'm going to start. I'm going to mark it at my axis right here, because when I do a reflection, I have to reflect it over something. So in this case, I'm going to reflect it across the x-axis and the y-axis. So especially if I move my thing around, I need to be able to line it up again to where it's supposed to go. So I have this lined up. Now I'm going to trace. Now I grabbed this, I'm doing it in blue here so we can see where these are at. Okay, now the first one right here says over the x-axis. So I'm going to take this and to reflect it over the x-axis, what do I do with my patty paper? I flip it over, right? But when I flip it over, I have to line up something. The axis, the origin, right? So I'm going to do that right there. So now that I have that, I'm going to do this. Watch. I can kind of push through the paper a little bit just to mark my points. So it should be here, here, and here. So I have my points now, right? Here, I'm going to use red for this one now. Now that I have that, I also have to label it correctly, right? Yeah. So if I'm labeling it correctly, let's take a look. I'm just going to label one of my letters to show you what happens. If this is Q, if that's Q right there, when I flip it over, Q ends up way over here now, right? So over here, this is going to be called what? Q prime, right? So that means this one is P prime, and this one is R prime. So we're going to hold on to this, because we're still going to do the y-axis also, too. So from here, I'm going to go with P prime is going to be located at 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Q prime is at 4, 1. R prime is 2, 1. Now, let's make a rule for this. Now, let's compare these right here.
They turn positive.
So what happened? What turned positive? The x. So what happened to my x value? It turned positive, right? But what if it was already negative? So if it was negative, it goes positive. What if it's already positive? It goes negative. So how would I state that for my x value? What is the opposite of 5?
Negative 5.
What's the opposite of negative 3?
Positive 3.
So what can I actually say I'm going to do with this? Opposite of x.
Opposite of x.
So put a negative x. So let's see. A negative and a negative makes a, but a positive and a negative is? So it's just the opposite value of my x. Now what about my y values? Do the y values change? No. So what do I put right here? So that's just going to be a y. So my coordinate here, so this is a rule if it's going to flip across the x-axis. So the x value is opposite, but the y value stays the same. Does that make sense? Hopefully?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to do it with just the y-axis. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to put it back where it was originally. So here's the original, right? That's the original, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to flip it. I'm going to flip it across the y-axis. So go ahead, flip that over. Line up my coordinate. And then start putting your points, right? Yes.
I'm confused. Why is this the y-axis? I thought you were flipping over the x-axis. because it's
X-axis.
horizontal.
You are absolutely correct. I screwed up. Thank you. You know what? You deserve candy. I'm going to give you candy. You deserve candy. Where were you on that one? Okay. Anyway, she's right. So what I'm going to do, watch this. Watch. I'm going to change this. This now says y-axis. And this one's supposed to be x-axis. See, I got one person following along. Here you go. I got a special one here for you.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
That's not fair, bro.
So if you catch me slipping, you get candy. All right. So now, x-axis right here. X-axis right here. So now, what am I going to call this first one over here? What am I going to call this one on the left? Ah, my pen's out of ink.
Double prime?
No, this one's not going to be double because which one did I flip?
Oh, that,
I flipped the pre-image, right?
yeah.
If I flip the pre-image, this would be Q prime, right? If I flip the flip, that's double prime.
Okay.
If I flip the flip, that's double prime. But since I'm flipping the original, it's single prime. So this one's going to be my R prime, this one's my P prime. So this is P prime. I know it looks like there's double here, but that was a typo here. All right, so this is going to be, my P prime is going to be located at -3 and, okay, Q prime is -4 and -1. R prime is going to be at -2 and -1. So what can I say for my rules here? What can I say for my rule? Remember, we're going to compare it to the original. What's happening to my x's? Look at the x's. Are they the same?
Yeah.
So if the x's are the same, what am I going to put here for my rule? Just x, right? Look at my y's now. What happened to all my y's? They're negative. So it'd become opposite? Yes, so how am I going to say that here? Negative y. So it's the opposite of my y value. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm jumping over to this one over here now. I'm jumping over to this one over here. Now we're going to do this one because this one, I like this one more than this one. So let's start off with this. Reflect this. Is that 5 over the x? Why does that say 5 over the x? That's a typo. Reflect this over the x and y axis. So let's start off with putting where these things are. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to do black on this one, my original one. All right, so let's see. A is going to be located where?
1, 0.
1, 0. B is
3, 0.
3, 0. C is
3, 2.
3,
-2.
3, -2. Very good. D is
-2.
1, -2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we okay? So, let's get this right this first time. X-axis. So I'm going to take my paper. Take the paper. What's the first thing I mark? Axis, the origin, right? So I'm going to mark that. There we go. And then mark this, 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 this. And I'm going to mark this one right here as C. So I'm going to know which one goes where. And let's mark this one D. So let's flip this. Let's flip this over the x-axis, right? So what am I going to do with this patty paper?
Flip it up.
Flip it up, right? Turn it up. So right there. So try to see if you can push through a little bit. And then mark it right there. So if you notice, isn't B and A at the same place?
Yeah.
Yes.
They are. They are going to be at the same place, so that's going to be important. So now when I did this, I marked my letters specifically. So this up here is going to be called what? C prime. This one over here is
D prime.
D prime. All right, so now that I have that, so A, so my A prime is going to be where? Which is 1, 0, right? B is that the same spot for B? 3, 0. C,
3, 2.
so C prime is going to be 3, 2, right? D prime.
1, 2.
All right, so now let's compare all these. Now, what happened to my x's?
They stayed the same.
They stayed the same. So what am I going to put for my rule?
X.
Just x, right? Now, let's do the same thing for the y. Let's compare the y's. Can I look at the ones that stayed exactly the same?
Yeah.
3, -2. Same.
No, I'm only going to look at these ones here.
Yeah.
Because that's on the same dot, isn't it? So let's look at these ones right here. What's happening to my y's?
Negative.
So I'm going to write
Negative what?
negative y.
Pasha,
Yes.
didn't you just do the same thing you did on the last problem?
No, because I did it over the x-axis. This one's correct.
Okay.
This was y because I went left and right.
Okay.
So this is my y-axis, and this one right here is my x-axis. So if it's over the y, I flip it left and right.
Okay.
If it's over the x, it's up and down.
Alright.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so now let's do the next one. Let's do this one right here. So now this one says, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna start from the original though. So I'm not gonna double prime this. I'm gonna single prime. So we're gonna start with the original, and then I'm gonna put it over the y-axis. So let's see. I'm gonna mark it right here, right? So now, what do I do with my patty paper here? Flip it to the left. All right. There we go. Line up my axis. And if you recall, I marked 2 points just to make sure I can get this right. So this one over here, this far one, this one right here has to be what? That's C prime. Make sure you label that correctly. All right, this one down here is going to be
D prime.
D prime. This one right here is
A prime.
A prime, and then
B prime.
B prime. All right, let's go through and start listing what we have. So my A prime, so like I said, this is going to be a single flip. I'm not going to do a double flip because I'm trying to make a rule out of it. So for this one, so A prime, what happened right here? So what's my point?
It's
Negative 1.
0.
Okay, so negative 1, 0. B prime is C prime,
Negative 3,
negative 3,
negative 2.
negative 2. D prime,
Negative 1, negative 2.
there we go. So now we're going to compare my x's. What's happening to all my x's?
They're becoming negative.
Negative, so it's going to be opposite, right? So that's going to be opposite of your x. And what's happening to your y's? Do they all stay the same, right? So what do I put?
Negative X and regular Y.
Yep. Look, I want you guys to see this now. Y-axis, isn't that the same rule as this y-axis? Yes? X-axis, isn't that the same as the x-axis? So the rules are the same, aren't they? Okay, since the rules are the same, I want you guys, okay, you guys are going to finish this because we had to take a bunch of time out of class to go vote. You guys are going to finish this, and then our assignment today is going to be here. So if you have your patty paper, use your patty paper. You can use it over and over again. I gave you guys rotations. Uh-oh. I'll give you guys the next one tomorrow. I accidentally gave you guys rotations. We haven't done rotations yet. That one's going to be on Thursday. Why are you saying, oh my God?
So we don't do it
Look,
again?
so this one's actually going to be page 44. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to fix this on Thursday. So, even if you do have it down there, so we're going to do this Thursday. And on Thursday, I'm going to give you today's work. So your job is to finish these ones. Make sense? So you guys have this to finish. Okay, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.
Go with it.